Hello, it's Lady Boulay, and welcome back to Black American Lineage. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing, for your comments, for your thumbs up, and for sharing. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Today, I'm excited to report that America is doing the right thing by the players of the Negro League Baseball teams of yesteryear who were discriminated against and were not allowed to play in Major League Baseball. They were some of the best baseball players that ever lived, and America knew that, but it took a long time for them to recognize those outstanding players. But I just read that the Negro Leagues statistics are going to be added to the Major League Baseball records, as well they should. Again, they won't get the money, the accolades, and the fame that they should have, but at least history will know about them. Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige, and Larry Doby played Major League Baseball, but their statistics from their time in the Negro Leagues were never recognized until now. Major League Baseball announced that it would be updating all of its official records to reflect the statistics of Negro Leaguers dating from 1920 to 1948. It is important that we know that we always found a way. Those players could not play in the major leagues, so they created their own league, which is what you always have to do when you're being discriminated against. Why was there a Negro League? According to Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, African Americans started playing baseball on military, college, and company teams in the late 1800s. Some joined professional teams alongside white players, with pioneers like Moses Fleetwood Walker and Bud Fowler leading the way. However, by 1900, racism and Jim Crow laws had pushed them out of these integrated teams. Being forced out of competition led black players to organize their own teams and travel around the country. This led to several proximity leagues and eventually the Negro Leagues. There were several professional Negro Leagues and minor Negro Leagues that operated in Texas. Those teams were Dallas Black Giants, based in Dallas. They were one of the prominent teams in Texas and played in the Texas Negro League during the 1920s and 1930s. According to Oak Cliff Advocate magazine, baseball games were a way to celebrate Juneteenth, the holiday that commemorates June 19th, 1865, when news that the Civil War ended reached Texas and ensured the freedom of the enslaved. Black people weren't the only fans of the Negro Leagues, but the games were still segregated. Advertisements announced special seats for whites. Oh my, isn't that special? The Fort Worth Black Panthers, another significant team from Texas. The Black Panthers were active in the early part of the 20th century. According to the Society for American Baseball Research, the Fort Worth Panthers won the Texas League Championship for 5 straight seasons. Well, good for them. The Houston Eagles. According to the Texas State Historical Association, the Eagles were originally based in Newark, New Jersey, but moved to Houston in 1949 as a way to combat the loss of revenue caused by the integration of the Major League Baseball. The team played in the Negro American League until 1950. The move to Houston was not appreciated by some of the players accustomed to living in Newark. Pitcher Max Manning didn't report to training camp because he wanted more money, and pitcher Leon Day and third baseman Ray Dandridge refused to relocate. And you would have to guess that they didn't want to leave the North and come south to play baseball. They didn't want to leave New Jersey, where there might have been some semblance of freedom, to come to the South in the deep heart of Jim Crow. So I don't blame them for not wanting to take that chance. And the last Texas team is the San Antonio Black Broncos. This team played in the early 20th century and was part of the Texas Negro League. Now, these were just the teams in Texas. There were teams all over this country, and they were good. Now, I didn't see them. It was actually before my time. But I remember hearing my parents, my father in particular, talking about the Negro Leagues. So they were big. And baseball continued to be big in America with black Americans until I probably reached college or more. It's just recently that black players decided they were going to play football and basketball. They don't want to play baseball so much. Notable Negro League players are Josh Gibson, Thomas Cool Papa Bell, Satchel Paige, Oscar Charleston, and Rube Foster. These were the ones that didn't get to play in the major leagues. Some of the Negro League players like Hank Aaron and Jackie Robinson, and I think Satchel Paige may have played a year or in one game. Yeah, Satchel Paige got his shot in the major leagues at 42. He was a major player for the Cleveland Indians, helping them earn the pennant in 1948. But he was really kind of too old when Major League Baseball integrated. But Satchel Paige is really one of the all-time best pitchers that America has seen. Probably the best. But he didn't get to compete against the white pitchers. But we know that the black pitchers do quite well, regardless to who they're playing against. Now, Black American descendants of slavery, know your history. This is the foundation for all of these prima donna athletes rest on. They paved the way for them. They had to get out there and prove that they could play with the best of them. They didn't get the money. They didn't get the accommodations. They didn't get the accolades. They didn't get the fame that they should have gotten because they were always just as good as anybody else. Now, when people say somebody else is going to replace us, that's very ignorant. And for the sake of common sense, it's not smart to repeat that. Nobody can replace Black American descendants of slavery. Now, what they can do is come here and make their own record and create their own genius and make their own place in America, their own extraordinary place. But they can't replace us. We've already made our place. And this is why Black Americans should never be intimidated by anybody. Anybody. Because we have competed and won on every level that we have competed on, even when we were in bondage. So nobody can replace us. There's never been anybody in the history of the world like us. And that is something that we have to remember. Okay, so this is the news for today. Major League Baseball is going to add the statistics of the Negro League players to their roster. And believe me, some of these players are going to have higher statistics than the ones that are already there. They're going to change the statistics. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening and have a great day.